Hoesterey. He's our master technician. I'm sure you've seen him, known him. He's been here how many years now?
Since 2007.
2007, so 16 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, so Justin is he's spearheading back here with all of our performance work. Also on the dyno, doing all of our dyno tuning here in house. So yeah, without further ado, we're going to talk for sure about our stage kits. We're also going to talk about other facets of performance, obviously with handling, but also maybe we'll dive into a little bit of riding techniques. I've been teaching with Champions Riding School since 2013, and I'm a senior instructor over there and developing the curriculum for our riding school that is also contracted to the military. We teach all the Marine Corps their new riding techniques. And yeah, so we're going to kind of jump into all this different stuff. So Justin, kind of start us out. Let's just introduce or reintroduce really the stage kits. Kind of what, obviously, stage kit is going to vary on what it actually does for your motorcycle based on what engine is in your motorcycle. So twin cam, Evo, Milwaukee 8, it's going to be different levels of performance gains. But yeah, just kind of run us down.
So yeah, the Harley makes it pretty easy for us, and they have 4 stages. And the first stage is usually, well, always an air cleaner and exhaust. And I got a little cheat sheet here for you guys to pass around and look at it. So stage 1 is going to have your air cleaner, and there's multiple different styles of air cleaner. You got the snorkel like that one, you got the oval style, whatever you want. It's all preference. And exhaust. And Harley has multiple different styles of exhaust for mufflers. They have header pipes, but those come in line a little bit later on. The stage 1 is like your very basic, right off the line, do it real quick. Minimal amount of tuning, maybe a flash. If you just do an air cleaner and no mufflers, you don't have to tune it. If you do both, then you have to put them after it. Reason being is that the electronics on the bike can compensate to a certain degree.
Which one? To turn off?
That one on the wall. So the electronics will compensate and tune on the fly to a certain degree. Once you go past the air cleaner and muffler together, then you got to start changing it. Stage 2 is one step higher. So once you get your air cleaner chosen and your mufflers, then you can go with a cam. There's a handful of cams, all different signs, different ways of riding, different times for the power to come on. If you like to, tear it down the road on the highway, on the top end, you want a different cam and a smaller end. We'll touch on some little differences later. With the stage 2, you also get push rods, so you don't have to take. Harley makes it nice and easy. The old style, you have to do that. You take it down from the top end, put the push rods out, put the cam in, put the push rods back in, put the top end back on. Nowadays, we cut them out and we put adjustables in there. It saves us time, it saves you guys time, it saves you guys money. And yeah, those are really fun. These are really nice kits. They give you a lot of performance. The next step is a stage 3. There's a couple different styles of those for the twin cam. It includes valve springs, so you get a performance valve spring a little stiffer, so it closes that valve quicker. The early Milwaukee 8s came with new valve springs. Now the newer iterations don't, so they're already running the good performance valve springs in all the bikes now. Don't know why they did that. I think it's just cheaper for them to just run them, plus they're better. The stage 3 comes with cylinders, so it bumps up the compression, cylinder displacement, comes with pistons to match all the stuff that comes in there, rings, tappets, everything you need except certain hardware and gaskets, and that you'll just add on when you do the job. Stage 4, that's a bit much bigger. That's more closer to this amount of work. You're pulling everything off, cylinders, heads, you get, buzz down heads, what's it called? CNC ported heads, increase the flow of air, makes it nice and smooth. Your power, the difference in your power from a stage 1 to stage 4 is considerable. A stage 1 is more broad. It's starting lower and goes a little higher. Stage 4 brings that horsepower right up. And the higher RPMs is where you're really gonna feel that. Stage 3 is more broad again. So you're gonna feel that right off the line to about mid-range. It's gonna be phenomenal. So if you really like to beat your buddy, or your husband, off the line, go with the stage 3 or something with a high torque kit. There's 2 different styles of stage 2. There's a horsepower and a torque kit. And again, it all depends on what you're going to do with your riding, what you're looking for. If you really want to feel that in your seat pull, then a stage 2 torque, that's where you want to go. If you want to really be able to pass that guy on the highway at the top end, go with the horsepower. So yeah, that's basically it for the stages. And then once you get beyond that, you're looking at crate motors and long blocks, short blocks, and engine building stuff. And that's a whole other seminal.
When you compare stage 4 to 131 crate motor, in a lot of cases on most platforms, the end result is the same.
Effectively, yes.
Effectively the same end result. However, crate motor is actually less labor hours.
Yep.
Quite a bit less to just swap out the engine. You will then turn your odometer to 0 on your engine as well. So you're not maintaining the same bottom end. And we can sell or repurpose the original engine that was in it. So
Can we ask questions?
yeah.
117 motors, they have any stage equipment on them, or?
Do they have the stage built into it?
Yeah, when you buy one.
No, it's built from the factory. So the stages still apply to a 117, so you can still do a stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4 to it. Particularly, my team manager is also the manager of Screamin Eagle, and he says a stage 1 on a 117 or a stage 2 on a 117 is the best dollar or per performance ratio in the entire offering. Just so happens that when you get that 117, that stage 2 really opens that up and gets you well beyond the performance of a stage 2 that would come on a 114 if you put a stage 2 in it. So just that particular matrix of items really makes a big difference. So a lot of people are doing stage 2 on their 117s because it's just that immediate extra. It makes it feel a lot.
The pants kind of feel.
This stage 2 torque
I
kit.
have a 117 too. It's a good question. I have a 117
So
too.
that's a torque kit.
Same.
That's a horsepower kit. And it
So it shows you
changes
where
the
your power
time.
band is.
Yeah, it changes where you're going to feel that power. So it's either going to come on real quick off the line, or you'll feel it. And you can actually feel it if you ride a horsepower kit versus a torque kit. You can feel that power difference when it comes on.
Well, unrelated, I have a 124 Super Sideliner, it's SMS. And you crank it up, and at the high end, all of a sudden she just takes off. Changing the cam, is that gonna bring that power band down?
Yep, that'll change it.
So it's doable? Okay, because I don't live way up there.
Not many people do.
That's what the Rev Max is for.
Yeah, definitely a broader power band. And it's the same thing with the race program. We're always trying to find not only power from bottom to top, but when you have those kind of steps in the middle of your power band, then you have to be more careful as you're driving off the corner and stuff. So we're always looking for a more smooth power curve on the race bikes. Of course, with any stage kit or crate motor offered from Screamin Eagle, there's no effect to your factory warranty.
As long as you install it.
Sorry?
As long as it's the
Yep.
Yeah, as long as it's dealer installed. So I mean that's a big deal. It's you see a lot of people going in the aftermarket. Of course, the aftermarket is a great place to find these steps as well, and we install many aftermarket parts here. But for me personally, like I just want my stuff to work, and I want it to be fixed if it breaks. That's how I would approach it. So yeah, along those lines for engine performance.
It's assumed that if you're doing a stage 3, you're going to need an air cleaner too. Because basically, if you're going to bump up your displacement, you're going to add more air. add more fuel. You gotta be able to get it in there and get it out.
Get out.
You go with the stage one, are these air cleaners and exhaust gonna flow enough to
Oh, yeah.
keep up with
Oh,
the
yeah.
bigger cubes?
Absolutely. All of these kits, all of these assemblies and the combinations of them, they say Screamin Eagle on them. They've been developed in conjunction with each other, so they're made to work together. Is a lot of like a style.
Yeah.
It changes the look. It's not so much of a performance. It does increase some, and it's more of a look. And then the stage 2 and 3, that's when you want to bump up the
These don't
performance.
include the ECM, but the race module?
The race,
the
the street tuner.
Yeah, you
No,
got
that's
that extra.
separate. Yeah.
Now, what kind of things that
What
are?
about mapping?
That's separate. So you got the Pro Street Tuner and you got the Smart Tuner Pro. The Smart Tuner Pro is preferable for me because it kind of tunes on the fly as you're riding, changes your O2 sensors, it changes your head pipe, and it's just an all-around.
On its own?
No,
Yeah.
I already have a tuner on there that I can map, but
Most,
do
yeah.
you have I mean, if I was to do this myself, is there canned maps that I can get to?
If you have the Harley tuner, we can throw a map in it.
Well, it's not a Harley tuner.
Yeah, depending on whatever tune you have, you'd have to call whoever the company is and say, this is what I got, and I need a base map. And then they can send you.
Those tuners, they're married to the bike? You can't.
Once you put it in, yes, they are based. Once you flash it.
So which stages are gonna be just an ECU flash versus requiring a street or race tune?
So the way it was prior to this year really is any of the stages, if you were gonna put a map in it, you had to use, for Milwaukee, you had to use at least the Pro Street Tuner. Prior to that with twin cams, they had, our digital technician had base maps in there for all the setups through Harley. You put one in there that matched and you're good to go. Then they switched to the Pro Street Tuner, and now they're kind of, because of the microchip issue, I think, they're kind of switching back to digital tech. So now the maps are going to be on the computer, and they're going to be on the box, so you have that option.
That's kind of a big deal, I think.
Yeah.
They had supply issues with the tuners, so just realized that they need to start offering the dealers the maps to flash directly into the ECU.
Right, and
It
the
just
maps,
makes it super easy.
the maps from Harley are really good. They're completely sufficient. The one benefit with this, with the Pro Street Tuner, is you do have the option, we do have the option to go in and make fine-tune adjustments, minimal, to the air fuel. With the EPA, some of the Harley stuff is kind of limited on stuff, but what we can do is perfectly sufficient on it, and the base maps are usually spot on.
Yeah.
True with the older bikes?
The older bikes, yeah, I feel like if you get back into the Evo days, we actually have full cartridges and stuff.
The
And
thing is, I have a twin cam, and I had a different dealer making a 95 inch, went from an 88 to a 95, and now it runs like terrible. And like to the point, I had to take it back and do it again, and I'm getting the feeling they're just putting a canned map in it, and it's not really tuned to the bike. The thing spits and backfires. I mean, can I
so
fix that?
depending on, the combination of parts you got, if it's all Harley stuff, the maps from Harley are gonna be perfectly sufficient. You won't have any problems. If you have a Harley air cleaner and a Harley engine kit and then a D&D Fat Cat exhaust or something, an aftermarket big, it might not be sufficient. You might actually have to go in and make changes.
But it can be done.
It can be, yeah.
Right.
There's always a way, almost always a way.
The cool thing is within the stock ECU as well as those tuners, is there's a closed loop system that allows for corrections of the air fuel as you ride it. So it's gonna pick up, it's going to pick up your air fuel ratio from the exhaust, and it's going to make corrections at different throttle and RPMs to get that thing tuned as you ride it. So the more you ride it, the more it makes those corrections and kind of alters the base map to make it work better. But that's usually about plus or minus 5%
Yeah,
in
it's
fuel.
very
So if you do have an aftermarket exhaust and it's really rich in some area, it's only going to be able to pull 5%. When if you put it on the dyno, you might see that you actually need to pull 15% of fuel in that area.
A lot.
So it's only going to give you so much just so that the bike doesn't correct itself into hurting the engine.
And the tuner's required pretty much for any one of these, right?
Yeah, if you're gonna change your map, then you would leave it to.
You have to go to the tuner.
Nowadays,
Step
it's,
forward.
yeah, some of the bikes now, they're switching back over to computers. So we put the kit in, or if you did it at home, you could do it at
Yeah.
home, bring it in to us, and we can flash the map. That does cost money. Basically, you buy the tuner, and it's a one-shot. You bought the tuner, you can tune it, you can put whatever map you want into it as many times as you want.
So how much of a difference, like with the better tuner, would that make from like riding when it's 50 degrees or 40 degrees versus riding when it's 90 degrees? And was it different?
Good question.
We'll adjust that automatically with the ambient air temperature sensor. So air temp and air density is all factored into your
Altitude.
fuel
Okay.
mapping. So
So that doesn't matter which tuner you have, it will automatically just do that on its own? Okay.
back in the day on a carbureted bike, like if you went high altitudes,
Yeah.
going off a big pass, all of a sudden it doesn't have enough air.
Yeah.
Right. So
Starts.
these will adjust to any ambient changes.